Today, we are here for one simple but powerful principle. Due process means a fair day in court, and a fair day in court is impossible without an attorney. 4 years ago, San Diego County became the first southern border county in the nation to create an immigrant legal defense program. Since then, ILDP has provided counsel to more than 3,000 San Diegans, giving families a fighting chance when facing deportation. And it works. The data shows that with an attorney, people prevail about 2/3 of the time. But without one, success drops to just 5%. So take a moment to sit with those numbers. We're a nation that believes that you're innocent until proven guilty, and that law and order means that our rules apply equally to everyone, regardless of the size of your bank account. But people who can afford private lawyers are succeeding at 13 times the rate of those without an attorney. That gap tells us something is broken. The Immigrant Legal Defense Program levels the playing field so cases move faster and justice is fair. ILDP also makes our system more efficient. Having representation speed up proceedings, reduces backlogs, and ultimately saves taxpayer money while protecting people's rights. But today, all the progress that we have made here in San Diego County are under attack. Earlier this year, the Trump administration cut off funding for the unaccompanied children program, stripping 26,000 kids nationwide, including 300 children here in San Diego County, of their lawyers. A federal court did order these protections to continue temporarily, but only until funding ends on September 30th. And after that, after September 30th, unless we act here in San Diego, even toddlers will be forced to face a judge and a federal prosecutor completely alone. Picture this: a toddler clutching a stuffed animal, trying to answer questions in a language they don't even speak. My 6-year-old can barely answer questions in her own language. That is what Washington's cuts mean. This is immoral and unacceptable. So next week, I'm bringing forward a proposal to the Board of Supervisors to expand our immigrant legal defense program so that no child in San Diego County ever has to face court without an attorney. Due process is a constitutional value, not a partisan one. When Washington retreats, San Diego will step forward. I would like to thank the partners who make this work possible and who see every day the difference it makes when a child has a lawyer by their side. First, to share more about what's at stake for these children, please welcome Nadia Galish, a local immigration attorney.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nadia Galash, and I have practiced U.S. immigration and nationality law for over 15 years. I came here as a refugee, and for more than 5 years of those years, I worked with nonprofit organizations here in San Diego, representing unaccompanied minors in various immigration proceedings. I have seen firsthand how impossible it is for a child to stand alone in immigration court. Earlier this year, federal funding for the representation of these children was cut. At the same time, Washington has failed to faithfully execute and uphold our laws in any way that ensures fairness and justice. This has left some of the most vulnerable children in our community without the protection they desperately need. Let me paint a picture. I once represented an underage girl from Guatemala who spoke only Canjobal, an indigenous language. She sat in a court, clutching her hands together, terrified, shaken, unable to understand a word that the judge was saying. Without a lawyer, she would have no way to explain the abuse she had survived, no way to ask for the protection our laws already provide. With counsel, she was able to tell her story, and today she is safe in the United States, rebuilding her life. This is why providing legal representation to unaccompanied minors is not just important, it is essential. By definition, minors are children under the age of 18 who lack the mental capacity to comprehend complex legal systems. Language barriers further disadvantage many. Some do not speak Spanish, some do not speak English, but they do speak indigenous languages such as Mayan dialects, which can widely vary from one village to another one. And even for adults, U.S. immigration law is one of the most complex areas of law. Expecting a child in those circumstances to represent themselves in immigration court, it's not just unrealistic, it is unjust. Without counsel, these children face life-altering consequences without any meaningful ability to defend themselves. With counsel, they are given a fair chance to present their case, to be understood, and to seek the protection our law allows. That is why I strongly applaud the county's efforts to expand its legal defense program to include unaccompanied minors, whether de jure or de facto. This initiative ensures that our community stands for fairness, justice, inclusion, and compassion. It sends a clear message. In San Diego, no child will be forced to navigate immigration court's maze alone. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia. So as we've talked about the principles at stake and heard from legal experts about why representation matters, the most powerful voices are the young people themselves. So we would like to share with you today the story of Abrar, who became an unaccompanied minor at just 15 years old when he was evacuated from Kabul after the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Abrar cannot be here with us today because he's in school, exactly where every teenager should be. But he wanted to share his story with all of you. So to read his testimony, I'd like to invite Lucky Aiden, a youth organizer with the Partnership for the Advancement of New Americans. Lucky?
My name is Abrar. I became an unaccompanied minor in 2021 when I evacuated from Kabul airport in Afghanistan. At the time, my father was working in the U.S. with the U.S. in Afghanistan. After the collapse of Kabul and the U.S. withdrawal in 2021, my entire family went to the Kabul airport, hoping to get on a flight to leave the country safely. The airport was extremely crowded. In the chaos, I fell and was nearly crushed under the feet of the crowd. I still don't know which country the soldier belonged to, but he helped me stand up and brought me inside the airport. That's when I became separated from my family. At that moment, I didn't know where I was going. There were military forces from many countries, and everything was confusing. I ended up staying at the Kabul airport for 6 days without any way to contact my family. Eventually, I was able to call and let them know I was safe and I was waiting for my biometric screening. That same day, we found out that I would be evacuated to the United States. It was a very emotional time because that was also the day of the suicide bombing at the Kabul airport. My family and I feared we had lost each other forever. It was a relief when I could call and let them know I was alive, though I didn't know where I was being taken. After around 20 or 25 days, I was able to speak with my family again. That time, I was in Qatar, and I told them I was safe. When I arrived in the U.S., I was only 15 years old. I didn't speak English, I didn't know anyone, and I had no family with me. It was one of the hardest times of my life, living in a shelter with other boys for several years. But eventually, I connected with an immigration attorney and nonprofit organization that supported me. They advocated on my behalf and helped me with my immigration case and worked tirelessly to reunite with my family. Thanks to their support, I finally reunited with my family in San Diego. I'm forever grateful for their compassion, commitment, and to helping unaccompanied minors like me. Having someone represent me made all the difference. It gave me hope, protection, and the chance to start rebuilding my life safely. Thank you.
So thank you to all of today's speakers for sharing your expertise, your stories, and your truth. And here is the bottom line. A fair day in court is impossible without an attorney. This is especially true for children. No child should ever be forced to face a judge and a prosecutor alone. So that's why I'm bringing forward the No Child Alone in Court proposal to expand our immigrant legal defense program and ensure that every child in San Diego has someone by their side fighting for their rights. The federal government may walk away from its responsibility to protect and defend the Constitution, but San Diego will not. Due process is a constitutional right, not a partisan one. The Board of Supervisors will vote on this The Board of Supervisors will vote on this proposal on September 9th. Between now and then, I hope everyone here will raise their voices, share these stories, and help us make sure no child in our community is left alone in court. Thank you again for being here, and we're happy to take your questions.